People want to matter. They want to make a difference and be significant. Yet there are many ways in which a person could matter. People can matter to their friends or family or to larger communities. On the other hand, the universe is 93 billion light years in diameter and contains hundreds of billions of galaxies, so you might wonder, do any of us really matter in the grand scheme of the universe? In a series of studies, our team has investigated the differences between forms of perceived mattering and their links with well-being. In the study I'm presenting today, we collected 2 samples. Here are some brief demographic statistics for each. We used 3 separate measures of perceived mattering: close others, societal, and cosmic. Each one had items that were phrased in a parallel manner, but contextualized the statements in a different way. We also assessed religiousness and narcissism, because past studies have found links between these traits and perceived mattering. Finally, we assessed positive and negative mental health using multiple measures for each. I'll say more about that in a moment. Factor analyses suggested that the items from the 3 different mattering scales displayed the appropriate 3-factor structure. We regressed these 2 personality traits on the 3 forms of perceived mattering and found that only perceived cosmic mattering was uniquely related to religiousness. For narcissism, we found that perceived societal mattering was uniquely related, and so too cosmic, at least in the adult sample, though not perceived mattering to close others. Between the factor analyses and these results, it seems clear that these 3 forms of perceived mattering are indeed distinct constructs. Now, regarding mental health outcomes, we used our positive and negative outcome measures as indicators for latent variables of positive and negative mental health. Suicidal ideation was kept separate because it's importantly different from these other negative outcomes. The coefficients for each sample are stacked here, so sample 1 on top and then sample 2. We found that mattering to close others predicted positive mental health, but only predicted the negative outcomes in the adult sample. Perceived societal mattering was perhaps the most robust predictor. It was uniquely related to all 3 outcomes in both samples. Cosmic mattering, on the other hand, while it was uniquely related to the positive and negative outcomes, it was not related to suicidality in either sample. Overall, our results suggest that perceived mattering to close others, society, and the cosmos are distinct constructs. In some cases, these differences matter, for instance, when studying narcissism or religiousness. On the other hand, it seems that the links between specific forms of perceived mattering and mental health outcomes may vary from person to person and/or across demographic groups. So when studying mental health, the optimal measures might assess overall perceptions of mattering, which would allow participants' priorities to be reflected in their assessments. In another study, which unfortunately I don't have time to present, we investigated longitudinal links between perceived mattering and mental health during the early months of the COVID-19 lockdown. So if you're interested in that, come find me.